Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, my little Tattle Tells? Y'all, what is going on? Funky Dineva has issued a threat, an ultimatum. I don't know what you want to call it, but he is coming hot and heavy for Candace. And what's more, he's saying he's the voice of a nation. Now, what am I talking about? Let's get into this audio, right? Let's just start this off right like we're doing, right? And we'll see what's going on. This is courtesy Felicia Jenkins on Twitter, right? And let's get into this.
Something that tried to call me a hypocrite or whatever the case may be. I don't know because I didn't see it, but I'm
sorry, guys.
For you this.
Okay, hold on.
Something that tried to call me a hypocrite or whatever the case may be. I don't know because I didn't see it, but I'm gonna offer you this.
What?
And I'm going to look you dead square in your eye and tell you this. I am a punk. Baby, we created the read. All right? I can double assure you this is not what you want. Okay? In this space,
here it comes, y'all.
I am one of the gatekeepers to public opinion. And unfortunately for you, my opinion and my thoughts carry more weight than your presence on this show.
Is that a fact?
And also, unfortunately for you,
keep going.
There is nothing stopping me from completely obliterating you.
He act like he Thanos.
I'm not scared of your daddy and your husband can't whoop me. So I'm going to issue you this warning. Okay? Choose wisely when it come to me. And I'm going to leave it at that. The ball is in your court. Choose wisely when it come to me. I'd like to be friends, but the ball is in your court.
Now, folks, we have a live footage from Candace Dillard's house after she watched that threat from Funky Dineva. I think it was something like, girl, what is Funky Dineva talking about? You guys, let's go through everything because we need to break this down. He said that he is the gatekeeper on YouTube. Now, no shade to Funky Dineva. He has been on YouTube for what, 13, 15 years? Yes, you know, he has 1 billion times more subscribers with me, and he is infinitely more influential than myself and half the YouTubers over there. However, gatekeeper is a strong word. Gatekeeper is a strong word. Y'all, what y'all think? Is he the gatekeeper of the culture, right? I'm serious. Is he the gatekeeper of the culture? Now, you guys, first of all, I didn't know the beef between him and Candace was that deep. You said, I'm the gatekeeper, and unfortunately for you, let's also get into, actually, you know what? Let's replay this because we're going to go by this line by line item and get into this. And you know what? Today, I'll take callers if y'all want to call in and give your 2 cents. Okay, so let's start with the first thing. And we're going to take it.
And I'm going to look you dead square in your eye and tell you this.
Hold on.
I am a punk. Baby, we created the read.
Now let's stop right there, right? Y'all want my hot take? Y'all want my unpopular opinion? You want my honest opinion? Let me tell you something. For him to say he's a punk and they invented the reads, let me tell you something. And I don't want to speak on a culture and a community that I'm not a part of. I really don't. And I'm not going to speak on it. But I will say this. Correct me if I am wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But punk culture, the culture he's talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, was predicated from imitating the read downs that Black women gave. I'm not talking about 1980. not talking about 1970. I'm not talking about 1960. I'm talking about going back to 1908, rootin' tootin' whatever, before it was even legal, fashionable, or even publicly acceptable to be in an alternate community. Now, I'm not taking anything away from that community because they perfected it. They got this thing going. But it was all made in emulation of Black women. Or am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, you guys. If I'm wrong, educate me. But I am literally flabbergasted at this narrative that the culture is not predicated on emulating the reads and the read downs and the yes, honey, and your aunties telling it like it is and sweeping the front door. Isn't that what it was all literally the emulation? Literally, it's like when people say that people are emulating drag culture, women are emulating drag culture. How is that possible when the culture was based on a more glamorized, hyper feminine version of women and makeup? Do you see what I'm saying? That's all I want to get down with the thing. But you guys, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But Black women wore the blueprint for read downs, and I'm talking about going back to 1808. But maybe I'm wrong. So to actually, but anyway, but I see Funky's point. Funky's point is saying that the culture now has owned the read. And now, literally, people are imitating that culture because they perfected it. They put their own flavor on it. They put their own spice on it. But let's not forget the prototype. But let's go into what, but I get Funky's point, right? I just want to point that out, right? But I get Funky's point. But let me just say, Funky, what y'all think in the comments? I'm going to go to comments. Do y'all think that Funky could take Candice? That's my first question. Or do you think Candice could take Funky? Because here's the thing. We all know that Funky can get in the gutter and do a read. We all know he can do a read down. However, Candice Dillard can read. And baby, she's being held back by Real Housewives censors and Andy Cohen and Ashley Darby, and also the 8th cast member, like I all said, Miss Colorism. But how vicious could Candy's mouth get if she was allowed to really get in the dirt and get in the gutter like she wants to? I know a lot of y'all think that like, oh, Candice is already in the gutter. I see Candice for what she is. And y'all know I literally like Candice. I like most, if not all, the members of the Real Housewives of Potomac. You know, they just sometimes get on my nerves. For the most part, I like Candice. But if y'all can't see that Candice Dillard's bastard holds back, everybody fell out and laughed when Candice said to Mia, I did your ass. Now, I was, what did she say? She said, I went easy on your ass. And you wasn't grateful. And everybody just fell out and laughed. And Andy was like, you're a mess. Let me do my Andy Cohen. You're a mess, right? But at the end of the day, I understood what Candice said. She went easy on Mia. I feel like if Candice really wanted to get into the gutter, she'd get in the gutter. And this Candice is being dragged on Twitter and dragged on social media for the things she says, for the yo mama, the shot heard around the world. I told y'all, if we ever want to wage war with another country, why go to NATO? Why send our troops in? Why drop anything? All we got to do is pay some fighter pilots to write yo mama in cursive across the sky of where our enemy is, and it will be shots fired. Because apparently, like I said, yo mama is the worst thing that anybody has ever said to anybody in the history of anything. But everybody flipped out. But I'm telling y'all, that Candice that you guys are getting, she, believe it or not, I believe she bites her tongue. So Funky Dineva can get in the gutter, but I think Candice can meet him where he's at. But let's go on, because he makes a couple other points that I wanted to talk to y'all about.
I can double assure you.
Double.
This is not what you want. Okay? In this space, I am one of the gatekeepers to public opinion. And unfortunately for you, my opinion and my thoughts carry more weight than your presence on this show.
Okay, let's get into that. First of all, relax. Is it that serious? Is it that serious, Funky? Where is this one-sided, and again, you guys, let me know if the comments if I'm missing something. Where is this one-sided parasocial beef that Candice and Funky Dineva have? Candice might have taken it, but why? You're declaring yourself a gatekeeper. You're saying in this medium, and you guys, listen, I know I'm on YouTube, you're on YouTube, but can we just keep it real for 10 seconds? Millions of people watch Potomac, right? A few 100,000 are on YouTube. I know we like to act like whatever is said on YouTube is heard around the world, but honestly, just like there's shit going on YouTube right now, there might be a TisaTellss hate channel. I don't even know. Just because something's said on YouTube and just because it gets 10,000, 11,000, 20, 50, 100,000 views doesn't mean the average person, if you go into a mall and you're like, yo, who's heard of TisaTellss? Who heard of Funky Dineva? It doesn't mean anything because as much of a presence that Funky has on YouTube, right? As much of a presence that Funky has on YouTube, it's on YouTube. Not even that, Candice is on people's TV screens. Well, but it seemed like threats just filled with hubris. Let's go, because there's a few other things I wanted to address. And then we're going to go.
So unfortunately for you, there is nothing stopping me from completely obliterating you because I'm not scared of your daddy and your husband can't whoop me.
Now, can Candice's husband, let's do a fact check. Can Candice's husband whoop Funky? I don't know. Would I bet money on him if I had to? Possibly. Chris don't look like no punk. But even then, he said, I will absolutely obliterate you. What are these grand pronouncements of hubris, of ego, of whatever? I don't understand where this is coming from. It doesn't seem grounded in reality. It doesn't say, and I don't care if Candice said a few shots at Funky. I've never heard them. And if I've never heard them, are you watching her videos obsessively? And second of all, Funky, you have said low down shit about Candice. You even were dragging her when she got into that fight in Monique. You cannot be serious. If Candice said something to you or reacted to you or even addressed you, it's because you've been addressing her. Now, granted, I don't remember her doing that. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't remember doing that. But again, where's this hubris coming from? And aren't you now guilty of the same thing you're accusing Candice of being guilty of? You're mad. Let's get on with this, right? Because I'm going to drop the link so y'all can call in and give y'all opinions.
So I'm going to issue you this warning.
A warning.
Okay? Choose wisely when it come to me. And I'm going to leave it at that. The ball is in your court. Choose wisely when it come to me. I like to be friends, but the ball is in your court.
Okay, let me tell y'all something, right? And I'm going to drop this call-in link if y'all want to call in. We're going to take callers tonight. Don't act a fool in the comment. Listen, I don't have a moderator tonight, but if I see any of you guys acting a fool or talking crazy, I'm blocking you, okay? Hey, what's up, DM Rocks? What's going on? So you guys, come on, let's play nice. Let's play nice. Let's be nice, all right? But I will say this, right? Hold on, let me just delete this and put the call-in link if you guys want to come in. And thank you so much, DM Rocks, for the super chat. DM Rocks said, Candice is my favorite. Yo, I like Candice too. I'll say that. Now, here's the thing. Quinn said, Tisa, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They used to be friends. Janice Rock, let me tell you something. I'm not a YouTube historian, but Dineva and Michelle ATL used to be friends. And I remember when he called himself exposing her, putting her on blast, threw all her business out in the middle of the street and dragged her up and down YouTube. Now, let me tell you something. Oh, sweetie, thank you. I'm joking here. Listen, thank you. And dragged. Oh, thank you. Should we order extra? Sorry, guys. And dragged Michelle. Sorry, guys. And dragged Michelle ATL all up and down the streets, on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever he could go, and told all her business. Now, do I know if the stuff he was saying was true? No, but I remember he did it. I remember when he was cool with Mariah, right? Mariah Huck. from Married to Medicine. And something happened and he got cool with Quad. And then he literally in a building, cursed Mariah out, videotaped it, played her, followed her around. Any business she told him, whether it was true, I don't know if he made the business up, or I don't know if Mariah actually told him this stuff, but he made it seem like it was true and put her shit out there. So it with all due respect, Janice, and I see where you're coming from, Funky's been friends with lots of people, and in my opinion, did them dirty. Now, did they deserve it? I don't know. I'm not Funky, but from the outside looking in, once maybe, twice I see a pattern, and the common denominator is him. The fact that whatever Candiace did, you issued a threat to her, and what Candiace, somebody's like, oh, somebody sent something to him. But Funky's messy. Why didn't he actually post what Candiace sent? Why didn't he go to TGI and put it on blast? Because, in my opinion, outside looking in, what Funky received from Candiace wasn't enough, and he knew public opinion wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's justified. And whatever it did, he was looking at her like, ooh, this little girl, how dare, and he decided to flex on Candiace, right? Because Candiace, out of that whole group, is unprotected, right? I was watching Nikki Starr the other day, right? She does recaps on Housewives. Shout out to Nikki Starr. I've been watching her for years. She's so good, so beautiful, so funny, entertaining, and she's an actress. I love Nikki Starr. But I was watching one of her lives, and she had a good point where she was like, Candiace is unprotected. And she's unprotected for a certain reason. And everybody knows that she's unprotected. So everybody takes their shots when they can because Candiace is unprotected. And that's what I think Funky's doing. Again, if Funky had something on Candiace, if Candiace had disrespected him, if Candiace had dragged him out, why isn't he talking about this on TGI Friday? Why is he issuing threats on his YouTube like he controls the culture? Where does Funky hold power? In the Housewives community to get Candiace kicked off. And to my point, before we let Kimmy and Ralphie G come up and say their comments, right? Where? Funky has not said anything nice about Candiace since that shit with Monique. So if Funky really was the gatekeeper, if Funky really could control shit, if Funky literally did hold the keys to the Housewives kingdom and her having a voice on this platform, then why is Candiace still on the show? Because you've been talking shit about her for a minute. And you even said she should have left when shit went wrong with her and Monique. So again, this threat that you're making, where's the whole value? I don't see it. Do you? Let's bring Kimmy on and see what she got to say. And then we're going to bring Ralphie G on. What's up, Kimmy? How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Tisa, can you?
Hey, what's going on? So what's going on? Wait, hold on. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear her? It sounds low. I can't hear her. Kimmy, can you? I can't hear you. It sounds like you're muted.
Hello?
Okay, now I hear you. Loud and clear, babe. Go on.
So I just think ever since he got on TGIF, I guess he feels like he has some type of power now because he has a show that actually didn't fail this time. So I guess maybe he thinks that like he can just come on the internet and say anything about anybody. And I don't know. I think he's been like more busy doing that show. So he's been like off of YouTube more often. So maybe he thinks that like, I guess, I don't know. Cause I know I've seen people talking about him in the recent like couple of weeks. And I feel like maybe he got word of that and like felt some type of way about it. So he felt like he had to come back and do some extra shit like this. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know what power he has over anybody. Like, all you do is talk mess on the internet. Like, everybody can do that. You're not special. Like, you're not doing anything that anybody else can't do. And I don't really, if you're not going to bring receipts and tell us why you're acting like this, then I don't think there's a valid reason.
I 100% agree with you. Now, LA, what's up, LA girl? You said, by the way, Funky also complimented Candiace on the same rant. He said they were too much alike. They were so much alike about responding to folks who attacked them. Okay, I saw the full interview. You can't drag me through the streets and then be like, Tisa, I think you're a wonderful person. I see what you're saying, but it's like a weird way that he was trying to issue a threat to smack her in her place, but then be like, oh, we're alike. To me, that was all under the same threat. That was all under the same threat. Again, this is weird. This is hubris. the way Funky completely responded to her, and again, y'all, I don't care what y'all say. If there's always conspiracy theories on YouTube, on Twitter, on whatever. Everyone's saying, oh, you don't understand. Candace said this. Somebody sent it to Funky. He's responding. You guys, this is Funky Dineva. He will be messy when he wants. It's one of the reasons why we watch him. It's one of the reasons why that he entertains everybody, right? Let's be real. He was messy for doing this. Why didn't he post his receipts? Why didn't he say what the problem was? Why? Because Candace is unprotected, and he felt fine with threatening her, even be like your daddy, blah blah blah, and your husband and your man can't beat me. I remember when he said that, the way he blinked, because he realized, yeah, this is stupid. I don't know. I don't know, right? Listen, they kicked him off a Scissor Circle, right? Y'all about to make a lot of BS about Funky. He cool. Listen, pretty honestly, y'all about to make up a bunch of BS about Funky. He cool and I've been following for years. He don't start drama. Pretty honesty, you gotta be honest. Stop it. Everything I just said about Funky with Michelle ATL and what he did Mariah Huck, he literally documented it. You could probably go back and find the videos. What are you talking about? Who's making anything up about Funky? Girl, no. Thank you, Pretty Honesty, for commenting, but no, it's video documented. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Stop it. It's literally
Morgan made a valid point.
Yeah,
Morgan said that, why doesn't he ever have smoke for men? And I'm like, that's a great question.
I don't know why he never has smoke for men. I'm still trying to figure out what his smoke is with Candace. Can somebody tell me what his smoke is with Candace? Not what he meant, not why he was being nice, not, oh, I've been watching him for years. What, in my Cardi B voice, what was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason? Ralphie G, get in on this. Do you know the reason why he issued this threat to Candace? I just want somebody to tell me. Do you know Ralphie G?
Hey, Tisa, can you hear me?
Yes, of course. Hey, Ralphie G, welcome to the chat. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to sound off on this. So I watched his entire video as well. And I'll say this. I do feel like Funky is a very, very intelligent individual. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, it's just kind of odd to me sometimes because I'll watch his videos, listen to what he's saying and where he's coming from, but I do see some of the hypocrisy in some of the things that he says. Now, I wasn't the biggest Candiace fan initially, but when I noticed the hate that she has received, I started to feel like, hold on, wait a minute. Something feels really, really dark, and something just feels really off about the mindset of a lot of people. And I've watched Funky's videos. You know, he's disregarded the colorism thing, especially on Basketball Wives. And even in the recent video, he said that colorism doesn't really exist on the Potomac Housewives. Like, they've bypassed that. And I was like, are you serious? You're a black man. I'm pretty sure you've seen this. Are you just choosing to be willfully obtuse? And this is a YouTuber that I love and I admire. But I don't understand, what is the hatred for Candiace? Like, I have seen other housewives who have been so dark and vile and nasty with their mouths. And I'm like, Candiace is not as horrible as some of the other ladies. And I've seen Funky hold other people accountable. But the way he goes about Candiace, I don't know if it's a personal thing because of the stuff that she said in the past about, you know, girly gay men. I don't know if it's a grudge he's holding against that. I'm wondering. I don't know.
Here's the thing, Ralphie. You bring up some very, very good points. And let me just comment on a few things you said. Yeah. I'm sick of everybody. Actually, you know, I can't say that because I'm not in the community, right? Candace's tweets from 10 years ago, super offensive, super bad, super whatever. I would allow for everybody to hold the same grace for a darker skinned black woman that we hold for everybody else, right? If we can believe that Paris Hilton and Kathy Hilton are like reformed and we're kikiing and laughing and all this other stuff, then we can hold grace for Candiace, the fact that she has matured from her very closed-minded, ignorant thoughts from 10 years ago. To my point, I do not believe that Candiace has shown in recent history, not from 10 years ago,
Right.
but even think that she still holds those thoughts and beliefs. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But again, I'm going to let somebody mature. To this whole point of the toxicity, right? This is the same person. And don't get me wrong, I watched Funky Dineva. He cracks me up. But I remember I stopped watching for a while when he went after Blue Ivy. Forget about her being Beyonce's daughter, right? Forget about that. Take the fan out. The fact that you're taking a child, right, with black features, right? And I know that's a misnomer because in America, honestly, what is black features? Like, again, in America, we all know, right? So let me take that, right? But you're taking a child, right? And talking about her hair and talking about her features. And you called a little child who wasn't even 3 years old ugly and was like, I don't care, and had a whole rant about the way somebody's child looks. But yet, whatever it is that Candiace did to him, and I think a lot of you guys in the comment are saying that Chris Bassett said, we don't got no problem with Funky, right? And he got our number. I think that's what caused it. But you going off on a grown-ass woman because she said something, challenged you, but you got balls. Again, it's that, like you said, that darkness that is allowed to brew. And I think it's what Nikki Starr is saying. Candiace is just unprotected. Everybody knows that they can take a hit and swing at Candiace, and no one from her coworkers to her boss to society is ever going to say anything in defense. And the people that will, from her own community, that will stand up and take offense and defend her, they're like, well, nobody's listening to y'all anyway. So go ahead. It's open season. Because in their mind, the people that matter don't care, and they can take a swing at her, and it's 100% culturally acceptable. But for y'all saying, oh, I've been watching Funkies for years. If y'all been watching Funky for years, then you know that he is problematic, a fave, but a problematic fave. So please don't come in here acting like he is part of the leader of the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America. Just like I'm not going to sit here and act like Candiace ain't never say anything offensive and never say problematic and is never wrong. I'll call out. I can like someone and still call you out and hold them accountable. But Ralphie, Kimmy, stay with us for a second. Kaya, what's up, Kaya? How are you doing, girl? Our favorite producer. What's going on?
No, this was weird. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you going, girl.
Okay. No, because usually I have my Bluetooth in, so I didn't know. This was weird because I know Candiace said something, but I believe all she did was like retweet a video of like someone having a clip of his YouTube video where he was like talking about your mamas and stuff a couple years ago, or maybe a little while ago. And that was all. And then Chris did respond to someone because someone, I think in a live, asked him about Funky, and he said, oh, we don't have any problems. He has my number if he wants to talk. And, Chris did make a statement about, Candiace being the titular character of the season and how she's, a lot of bloggers and YouTubers are using her for views. So I can see if someone doesn't like Candiace, that being a point of contention. But I think just for me, it is weird because you talk about the, yes, Candiace had homophobic tweets. Funky Dineva was the person who shared his platform with Candiace to talk about it and to apologize. Right. She did that on his YouTube channel. It was like an hour and 15 video. And so they were friendly.
But I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have a question for you and for people in the chat, right? Funky Dineva. So if there is any beef, it looks like Chris said something. If Chris said something, and Funky identifies as a man, right? He does. He identifies as a man. He's not woman identifying. He identifies as a man. Why didn't he go at the man? Why are you going at the woman?
I think that's a fair point, but also all Chris said was like, oh, he has my number. But then also Funky said in his video, oh, me and Candiace and Dr. Heavily need to go out. We need to connect. But Chris also, all he said was, oh, he has my number if he wants to talk. Because it seemed like Funky and Chris hung out more. Like they said that they had met up and ate together more, and he usually is talking to Chris, and so they have each other's numbers. So I just find this weird because for me it was very strange when he came back to review the reunion and he said he stopped watching. Like Candiace made him stop watching RHOP. When I'm just like, just a year ago you had her on her platform to talk about her homophobic tweets. Just a year ago you were like generally on her side, and then the Monique thing happened, and this is the same person who talks like I'm blackfish like this with his palm out, not black like this with his hand on top, and then people are comparing Candace to acting like a black Karen, but like he talks that manner, so it was strange, and then he started popping up everywhere with Monique and all these channels and stuff. So I'm not gonna say he's being paid by Monique because I don't think that's fair to say, but the optics of it do not look great.
Okay. These are some really good points you made. Now, Betty Swink says you can be dark skinned and also annoying and nobody likes you. It isn't always colorism.
People need to get over this. I get it. Candace is not the perfect victim.
Listen, you guys can fight me in the comments. I was the one from I wasn't the only one, but from day one that I started doing recaps on Real Housewives of Potomac, I've stood firm with this. Get out of here with this BS. Listen, in my chats, there will be no hate against anyone, regardless of your color, creed, religion. I don't care. There will be none of that. However, I'm not going to sit here and play this game with you. What do you guys think colorism is? Do you think in 2021, she's going to walk into the room and they're going to be waving pickaninny dolls in her face and acting like they're like, what do you think colorism is? It's almost to the point when people talk about, oh my God, I've experienced like the R word. I don't want to say it because the algorithm's going to attack me, right? What do you think somebody's doing? Burning a cross in somebody's front yard? What do you think it looks like in 2021? What do you think somebody's being like, yeah, I really, when people are like, it's not colorism, I really feel like with those people, the next question is, what do you think colorism looks like in 2021? You think they're holding pickaninny dolls? You think they're dressing up like Sambo? You think they're holding up brown paper bags saying, ooh, you're not invited into Club Potomac. Hey, what do you think it looks like? Dummies, it looks like what we see on the screen. It looks like you're not held to the same standard. It looks like what Robin Dixon said in her podcast. Well, she was on somebody's interview. I played it on one of the other podcasts where she said, it's not what Karen, because Karen pointed out, everybody says the same shit, right? Yeah, we're all vicious. But like Robin said, I know, but Karen can say something, somebody can say something, and Candiace can say the exact same thing, but it just hits different. It lands different.
She said it with a black scent. She said it with a black scent.
Yeah, she said even when she's saying the same things, it just sounds different. Y'all, if you don't know, let me educate you. That is the definition. When we do the same things, and it cracks me up that even people that are melanated can understand when somebody not melanated comes at them and all this nuance and the subtext and the insidious nature. Ooh, we can understand that. But when it's not something that doesn't affect you, all of a sudden everybody's playing stupid. Listen, yes, sometimes people are annoying. Some people are this. Doesn't mean everybody has to like you. That's different from being allowed to be the punching bag for everyone on your cast, by your boss, and for everybody in America that wants to say something foul and vulgar and whatever. It's funny to me that Andy could sit there and listen to Crystal cry. And I'm not taking away from Crystal's pain. This is not Oppression Olympics. Her pain is her pain, right? And she carries it and she knows it. And she is a part of a community I'm not a part of, so I will never question her pain, and I validate it. You say it's a problem, I see your tears, it's a goddamn problem. That's all I need to know. You feel disrespected? I might have never dealt with that disrespect. I might think the disrespect sounds a little silly, like what you mad about. But if you say it's disrespect and you say it hurts you, then I respect that, and the people disrespecting you need to stop. I find it funny that she could listen to Crystal cry about how much she's been disrespected and listen to her stories of pain, and it's not invalidating her point. But yet, with Candiace, when she's getting death threats on Twitter, when she's getting dragged on Twitter, when people are telling her to end it, Andy can only look at her and say, you're a disaster. Did you know that? But you're the common denominator. So why does it keep happening to you? Did he talk about the shit she was getting? Did he put up any vile, hateful tweets? that literally had Candiace, in her own words, ready to transition by her own hand into the next level of life? Did he do that? No. For y'all saying, oh, it's not that. Yes, it is. Because how come Candiace can take it? How come Candiace can take people saying vile things about her? How come Candiace can this and that, and then you turn around, don't address it, and then tell her that she's the disaster? Or if she's physically assaulted or anybody comes at her, it's her fault. She started it. You guys, and let's talk and take it from that. Kimmy, Ralphie, Kaya, jump in. Did you guys have any comments on the whole thing about the way that, and again, I think Funky Dineva is another level of that. It's another thing. Funky Dineva issued this threat to Candiace because he knew he'd get away with it. Did Funky, even with ATL or Mariah, have the balls to be this hard on somebody? Talking about, I'm the gatekeeper, I will end you, you've been warned, tread lightly. Again, maybe there's some undercover beef that we don't know about it. But judging as messy as it was and the way he came at her and the disrespectful tone, for what? He would have taped it if he had something more. It literally is, and this is the issue I have with all the castmates, they look at Candiace as beneath them. And I think, in my opinion, they look at Candiace as beneath them because on the spectrum, they're the whatever. So here's the thing. Candiace could try to be, and get in what she fit in. But when Candiace, in their mind, steps out of line, somebody that's beneath them, somebody that's just like, what are you doing addressing me like that? Somebody that in their minds in the social hierarchy is not on their level. When Candiace talks to them like she's on the level, it creates disgust. It creates this. It creates that. That's what's going on in my mind. And the fact that Candiace and Funky Dineva, I feel like, is internalizing that too. The fact that Candiace is supposed to be below him in his ecosphere, and she opens her mouth to address him however she wants. Again, I didn't see anything bad. Maybe you guys let me know in the links if I'm missing something, because I'll eat my words. Y'all know I'll eat humble pie. But from what I see, it's another shoot off of, you are not deserving. How dare you speak to me like that? That's what I think is going on. Y'all, what do y'all think?
I think people ignore the microaggressions. Like, people think that Black people can't, give microaggressions towards other Black people. And it's like, that's a thing. Like, you can be colorist. You can do all these things that you say white people do to us all the time. It doesn't, excuse it just because we're from the same community. It's actually worse because you should understand, as a person from this community, what it's like to deal with all this type of stuff. So the fact that people attack her constantly, and it's not even just like, oh, I disagree with her opinion. It's like, why are you going this hard about somebody that didn't even do anything to you personally? You can dislike her. You don't have to like her. Like, I don't like a lot of people, but I still hold everybody to the same standards. If you're going to hold her to a different standard, that's where the problem comes in. It's not colorism because you don't like her or you find her annoying. It's colorism because you hold her to a different standard than you hold everybody else to, and it just doesn't make sense.
I agree.
Go on, Ralphie. Sorry, go on.
I agree with what she said. I want to say this, because I'm Black, I'm gay, I'm from Jamaica. So in my country,
shout out to Jamaica, cool runnings.
We are a majority Black nation. So moved here, I didn't even know what racism really was until I came here, right? So I'm used to understanding colorism and seeing the micro. Because you can literally, if I did an interview with someone to get a job at a bank and the next person next to me is light skin with nicer or quote unquote nicer texture hair, they would automatically get it because of how they presented. I found it funny that because Funky literally said that he and Candiace has a lot in common when it comes to their mouths. However, the difference with him is that he said he learned to fight though. And that kind of bothered me because I'm like, why does she have to fight when she's on a platform where she's being paid to use her words, right? That he's very close friends with Dr. Heavenly, who says "Yo mama" all day, every day. And I don't know if Heavenly being a fighter, you know what I mean? Has he held her accountable before? It is absolutely colorism. Like she said, everyone holds Candiace to a different standard. And I'll say this. It kind of bothers me when a lot of viewers, Funky himself, they disregard Candiace because she cries a lot. I don't know why have people never met someone who just cries? someone who is emotional. You know, I have a friend, she's a Cancer, they cry. People cry when they're passionate. They either get angry and cry, or they just cry because they're sad. People cry. And I think a lot of people and viewers disregard her because she'll say something that they don't like and then cry and think she's automatically trying to play a victim. I don't think that woman is trying to be a victim. I think she's naturally just an emotional human being. And it says a lot to me that it's like, who hurt you guys? What's so wrong with her crying? Why do you disregard her and dismiss her just because she's in tune with her emotions? What's wrong with you guys so much why you can't be okay with a woman crying? Like, I don't understand it.
Well, let me explain it to you. This is my opinion, y'all. You can fight me in the comments, right? Black women in America have been socialized that we need to be strong no matter what. Family down, we hold our man down. We don't. From a young age, because let me tell you something. Being a Black, we've all made it through. Listen, everybody on this channel should be over 18. If you are not over, hold on, my screen's freezing up, y'all. Everybody on this channel is over 18. If you are not over 18, mommy, it's okay to listen to this live, but everybody here is over 18. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. You have made it thus far. From a young age, you learn very, very quickly that you got to toughen up. You got to be smarter, harder, brighter, quicker. You just got to be a lot. And it's literally that you are at war against a system that is trying to crush you. And because you're at war and every day is a battle, there's no room for tears on the battlefield. And it's not even just Black women. It's for me, because I'm only part of the Black community. Maybe this is common in other communities. It's always, you see little kids, stop crying. What are you crying about? Because if you start crying and you allow your emotions, there's no room to sit in your emotions. We're at war. What you doing? And I feel like a lot of people are forced through ridicule, through physical, through mental, to toughen up, because if you cry in the world, and when you cry, it makes other people feel stuff. And now everybody on the battlefield in their emotions. So I feel like it's a little bit internalized self-hate. I mean it as a culture, not anybody individually, that when somebody cries, we get triggered. Either it connects with that deep sadness that we've learned to ignore, or that shame that has been slapped into us is triggered. And it's just like, stop crying. Why are you always crying? Because at the end of the day, and it's sad, we've internalized it so much, the nation, I can't speak about the world, but I can speak about the nation I was raised in. The nation told us that we are not allowed to cry. And somewhere along the way, we started believing that ourselves. And that became, to some people, the culture. It's not the culture. It's sick. It's a generational curse. And it's one that needs to be, broken. But that's my soapbox. That's my rant to everybody. I think that's what's going on with Candice. Now, Tanuki says, Crystal and Candice are different on Twitter. Crystal's is called in a corner and she shut down her Twitter. Candice went on attack mode. Tears get sympathy and fighting back doesn't. But Tanuki, this is my point. You're missing the point. Because we're talking about, regardless of what Candice said, who had the right to make threats against her life? I don't care if she was playing Billy Badass. I don't care anything. She was getting threats on her life constantly. People telling her to end. We're not talking about sympathy, y'all. Let's have a high level discussion. We're not talking about sympathy. Stop projecting shit on people. We're not talking about sympathy. We're not talking about, but you know what? No, we're talking about, does someone have the right to tell any human being to end themselves, or does somebody have the right to tell somebody that they're going to actually end them for them? Nobody has the right to do that on Twitter, in real life, or whatever. And I don't care what you did. Nothing Candice did on Twitter would ever warrant that. So Tanuki, I thank you for commenting, but your comment doesn't make any sense. Everybody stay on topic. Right?
Well, in the discussion of colorism, like the other caller, I've discussed before, my mom's from Jamaica and all kind of stuff. So I have seen colorism, and there are terms people use for people mixed, and you understand who's mixed with what and all that kind of stuff. It's very important. Who are the doctors and all that kind of stuff are usually people who are lighter skin and who have a softer or looser curl pattern or texture and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's people I know in the chat are like, oh, what about the collision towards Ashley? They want to like, she's not even black. And I'm like, well, Ashley told us she wasn't black last week. She called herself biracial because she understands she is biracial. And I think that also is part of the disconnect, is because, as a community as a whole, we don't fully understand, like, we don't gatekeep blackness. And like, for me personally, we need to, because that goes into a whole conundrum, because the fact is, on the first season of RHOP, Giselle and Robin had a big issue with Katie, the biracial woman who is darker skinned than them. She's not dark, but she is no darker than them, calling herself biracial. They were upset about her not calling herself black. And I think, for me personally, it was because they understood the privilege of being biracial, and how dare she call herself biracial and not black when she looks more black than they do. The fact is, Ashley continues to, she's a biracial woman who tends to lean into white womanhood. She stands up for her husband when her husband is, being a predator. She stands up for her husband when her husband is saying, you touching me is disgusting, to black producers and security guards. She stands up for all of that stuff. That's why people have an issue with Ashley. I don't have an issue with Ashley because she's biracial. I have an issue with Ashley because of the way she allows her husband to behave, and the way she allows her husband to talk about the darker skinned castmate. The way she allows her white husband to say Candice is a criminal, the way she said that Candice has a rap sheet, even though Ashley has done far worse things. The fact that people always want to align Ashley and Candice together, when the fact is, Candice is not researching her castmates and then coming on the show and then forcing people to talk about things that they don't want to talk about, a la Robin and Juan's finances for 2 seasons. Candice is not going around. Yes? Oh.
No. So I wanted to actually, no, I completely agree with you, right? Just a few people making comments. Monique and Co says, didn't Candice say blogger should drop dead though? Kyle, I believe his name was. Y'all, listen, does Candice possess the power of the COVID or not? I'm confused.
She said that after Kyle said she would be dead. Kyle said that she would be barren, and all her children, if she ever was able to conceive, they would be stillborn.
He literally harassed her whole family for months.
Yes, he said she would be barren, and if she ever did conceive, they would be stillborn. That's why she replied like that. And he had been going at her for months because of Monique. And he was lying about Candice, about the fight, and he even said before he passed, unfortunately, sorry, I was lying about Candice. He said that. It's on All True Tea. He said he was lying about Candice and how the fight started, and that he was harassing her, going after Chris's ex-wife. He doesn't have to be an ex-wife and his other child's mother. Long before Candice ever responded to him.
Okay, that's a good point. Let's get welcome back to the chat, Rafi G. Let's get M Black Always, Miki, and Betty to comment. We'll go in that order. But I want to say to Tanuki, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right? I apologize if I'm not. Say, you read my content wrong. I explained why Crystal and Candice are treated differently. I'm not justifying anything. But see, here's the thing. You're not listening to my answer, right? And I say this respectfully. Listen, you can give sympathy to who you want. You can like who you want. Somebody can be your fave. You cannot stand someone's personality. But there needs to be a base level of treatment. Why did Andy bring up people making threats against Crystal's life and telling her to end herself, and not bring that up that was also happening to Candice? Why did Andy? That's one thing, and this is my whole point about privilege. When everybody's up, it's hard to have a discussion about privilege. It's when things start to go down that you see who has privilege and who doesn't. Because some people's emotions matter and some people's don't. Some people get the benefit of the doubt and some people don't. Some people, it doesn't matter what they say or did. Nobody's allowed to talk about taking your life. Other people, well, you were mean, so someone was justified in saying that. But again, you guys, my mind cannot be changed about this topic. So if anybody's trying to give me reasons why it's not what I think it is and whatever, I say this respectfully. Yes, we all have our opinion, but like you guys, I've seen enough. It's like, I've seen enough. But okay, let's see. In Black Love, what's your take on this?
Hey y'all, thank you for having me as well. Good evening. It's just troubling that he recorded himself, edited and uploaded a threat to Candice online. And I was like, you could possibly lose your job. You're well, probably in your 40s. if y'all, I'm 31. If y'all truly think that you can hit someone because of their words,
Mm.
do not post your GoFundMe. I don't want to buy no fish plates. You deserve to stay in jail. Like, unless someone is literally sending you a, like, physically harm, entering your personal space, there's no justification. Like, it is not right for Candice to be threatened the way she is. Like,
Mm-mm.
complete strangers. Like, Erica Dinero, she helped check my bias I had against Candice last year.
Oh, did
Like,
she?
yes. Like, I
Shout
didn't, like,
out to
I just,
Dineva.
yes, I hated that they fought because they were supposed to be friends. That's the one thing I hated about it all. You don't
Yeah.
fight your friends, especially amongst your haters. But, you know, just today in my city, a black woman, pregnant, 21, was shot and killed by her boyfriend.
What
A
city
group
you
of
live in?
teenage, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, goodness. Wow.
The way black femicide, the rates are high. And for him to get on the internet and to send a threat like that out to her when you could have called Chris directly.
Yes.
It wasn't that serious. It was a retweet of him saying how, how if you can't take my mouth, then don't start it. From years ago, from in his old videos.
Yeah.
Like, just shade, like, either don't start a verbal shade war with somebody who is, you know, who can outdo you. If they can get the best of you, just laugh it off or don't start it. Like, I don't know, go come harder. I don't know what to say. Like, he did threaten her. Y'all can say that was a threat.
It
That was a
was. And
threat.
it
Say
was,
what y'all want
listen,
to. That was a threat.
it was
No one
weird
has.
because, and sorry to interrupt,
It
but it
was
was weird because if you
no.
got
Go
that
ahead.
much
Go
beef,
ahead.
talk to her husband. Talk to her husband. Who said, Valerie Dick said, if it was a female, first of all, if it was a woman, if it was a female, would you have made the threat? Would y'all respond the same? Absolutely. What is wrong with you? I don't understand. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, girl. I feel what you're saying, but you're like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, and I
It
get
is
it.
a twilight zone. It's dangerous. I'm scared to walk outside to go grocery shopping. My husband got a Ring doorbell on our apartment. So just think, like, we live in apartments. The maintenance, we heard about the maintenance guy killing a woman a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
He does that for my safety.
no, listen, here's the thing, though.
You know
I
what
will,
I'm saying? Like, what's
when we
wrong with
say that
y'all?
he threatened Candiace, right? He threatened to end her career. He threatened to take away livelihood. And honestly, if somebody is in the position of being fearful, here's the thing. We're on YouTube. So you're like, oh no. And listen, I don't believe that he was threatening Candiace with physical violence. I do believe that if he was leaving a voicemail, if he wasn't Funky Dineva, and this was a man calling and he's male identifying, right? If this was a man calling my phone and leaving a message like this to M Loves Black thing, I would literally look at my boyfriend and be like, yo, what was that? Because I would take it as a threat to my physical safety. So again, we all talk about this with Candiace. True, I believe he was talking about ending her career, doing this, doing. I still think that's weird. I still think that's weird to issue a public threat to a woman when you got the husband's name. And what is this beef all about? And I think it's a lack of respect because he would have never done that to Giselle. Forget about whether he likes him or he's cool. He did it because he knew he could get away with it to Candiace. He did it because he knew that Candiace is the most hated and she's a punching bag. I would like to see him issue a threat like that to Erica Girardi, to Lisa Rinna, to Kathy Hilton, to Giselle, to Ashley, to Robin. I do believe he would issue that threat to Wendy and Escala, but that's just me. Miki W., what do you have to say about this? Please, where's your comment?
Hey, Tisa, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Mama?
So, first of all, this is a toxic man. I do not see any difference between this person and someone like the baby.
Oh, wow. Why do you say that?
The violence that he has put out throughout YouTube for years. I don't give a damn how many fans he has. I've never been a fan of his. I mean, even before the vile things that he spoke about that child, about Blue Ivy, he's always spoken disgusting things about Black women. This was before Potomac even was a show, before Candiace. Candiace is not the first one. Go back, if anybody's new to his behavior, he was disgusting to Kenya from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. This is not new, Tisa. Candiace is just, for whatever reason, I don't know. I feel like he must have gotten wind of a lot of really popular YouTubers really challenging his opinion and his disgusting views about Candiace, because I've heard quite a few of them. Some of my favorites have been talking about him. And he must have caught wind of, well, I don't want to mention them. You know, some of your favorites too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like really challenging him about some of the things they've been hearing him say about Candiace.
Okay.
And I think he got wind of it. And I kind of feel like there's also a layer of, you know, there's some clout chasing. I mean, Candiace is, I mean, like her or not, she's very popular. She's very popular. Everybody's talking about her.
But you
know, and I feel,
sorry to interrupt you, Miki. I do have to say this, Miki, because you bring up a good point, right? And this goes into my whole thing about Funky being a gatekeeper. Follow me on this, y'all, right? Candiace is one of the most hated housewives in history from what happened when they swarmed her. Candiace's album was #4 on iTunes and ain't going anywhere, and Nita Baker even shouted her out. I know, and this is why I laughed at Funky saying I hold the keys to the kingdom. Again, Funky has way more followers than me. He's way more popular than me. This is no shade to Funky, but it is
I don't know about that, Tisa.
No, but here's the thing. It is about a hubris.
He probably used to be more popular than you.
No. Listen, but here's the thing. No, he is. I give people their credit, whether I agree with them or not. They get their flowers. But here's the thing. We live in, and all of us live in this hubris of being a YouTube. Because as much as Funky and every blogger on YouTube was on the Candiace hate train, she's still up and stuck on Kelly Clarkson. YouTube is not as important. This vlogging community is not as important as we all, even myself, tend to believe sometimes. Yeah, somebody might see your video. Yeah, 500,000 people might see it. But guess what? On the Kelly Clarkson show, millions of people saw Candiace and loved it when she was dropping and bopping. So it's comical to me that all y'all tried to hate on, not y'all, but so many people tried to hate on Candiace. So many people tried to get her fired, stop her bag, sink deep space, and she is sitting lovely. So it goes to the thing about you don't have the power you think you did, because if you did, deep space would have never charted, because it wasn't just you, Funky. It was an army of vloggers holding pitchforks. So I'm sorry, Miki, for interrupting.
That part. No, I'm glad you said that, because I really feel like there's definitely a layer of clout chasing. It's like, because like someone else said earlier, yes, he has a show on Fox Soul or whatever it's called, but
it's Claudia's show, first of all. He's a guest star, but go on.
He's kind of fallen off with, the level of I guess the frequency in which he used to do, a lot of his reviews. And I feel like this is just a way to kind of get his name back out, in these YouTube streets. That's what I feel like. And I feel like he's toxic. He's dangerous. He is. He has the audacity to, talk about the baby and Boosie, how Boosie attacks, what's the guy's name? The rapper? Lil Nas X. But he's just as toxic. Just because you have a different sexuality, that does not mean you can't be a toxic Black man. He's toxic and he's dangerous.
You know what? Here's the thing I would like to say for everybody saying he didn't threaten her, right? Ruth Farrow, Brittany, and Jazzy Go, to your point, Miki, make some points. They say Funky is violent, and knowing there are a lot of crazed fans who threaten, and when they say violence, I think they're talking about the violence of Funky's words. We've never heard about Funky fighting anyone, right? And knowing there are a lot of crazed fans who threaten Candiace every day for him to do it is violent. Brittany says, nah, for FD to specifically say he's not afraid of Chris, that's a threat. Because why bring up the husband if it's supposed to be fearless? Brittany, that's a good point, right? Again, everybody's saying he didn't do this and that. If I gotten a message like that on my voicemail from an unknown person, please believe I would have been playing SUV on the floor, wiping my tears while the detective is taking my statement for who made a threat on my life. I don't play that mess. Yes, when it comes down to it, these hands have seen work in the past, but I'm above that now. I'm a delicate little flower, and I will be making my
Tisa.
Yeah, right, literally, please. Why my boyfriend is rubbing my shoulders and kissing my forehead, telling me it'll be okay. Yes, please hold me. I am scared. I'm overplaying that I'm a strong Black woman. Yes, if somebody catch me outside, yeah. But again, you don't play with stuff like that. I'm somebody's daughter. Get out of here. Seriously, Jazzy said it was a threat. He was literally said, I'm warning you. Again, all these people saying, let's stop having double standards. If throwing a butter knife and saying I took it easy on you and throwing lettuce is a threat of violence, what is somebody saying that? I wish you would tell me that your mom or your sister or your mother or your wife or your significant other would play that voicemail on you from a man that identifies as a man, right?
Right.
And you would just be like, oh, come on. He was just, what did you do to him? What did you say
exactly.
to him? Like,
exactly.
It boggles my mind. Miki,
She should press charges. She should press charges.
Well, we see what happened with that. But you know what I will say?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I will say, I'll let you say one thing, but I will say Candiace is so up and stuck right now. And I think maybe there might be a little bit of jealousy because I don't think that Funky was kidding when he said he's a gatekeeper. I feel like a lot of people, not just on YouTube, but in Twitter, Instagram, I feel and also even on networks, I feel there's a lot of people that feel like they're a gatekeeper. I feel like there's a lot of people that get off on feeling like I can end you just like that. It's not just him. Not a lot of people, but we all know people that feel like that. And I think it has a lot of people hot and bothered. The Candiace is up and stuck. And it's showing them that this hubris, and this isn't anything about Funky, but a lot of people, it's showing them that the hubris they feel that makes them feel important in life, that they don't even hold the power they thought they had. Do you know what I'm saying? And right. I think it's bothering a lot of people. We can hold our opinion. Y'all know you've been on my channel. I definitely got my opinion on people, but I would never be, and I'm always saying I'll eat humble pie, but I would never be so, I hope, let me shut up before y'all roll tape in a year and I'll be on camera like, I will end you. I own this kingdom, right? And you'll be like, roll tape. So let me shut up. But Miki, I'm sorry, you were going to make another point?
Yes, I just wanted to make the point about, I'm seeing a lot of comments about people saying, oh, there's no colorism because no one's coming at Wendy. Okay, so let's talk about that. The truth is, last season, the colorists didn't like Wendy either. The only reason they're pretending to accept Wendy is because she likes their precious, or pretends to like their precious Karen, and she's having issues with Giselle. That's the only reason. But let's not pretend like the colorist collective likes Wendy. Let's be real.
I completely agree with you. First, I want to give a shout out to Reggie Greg Blanchard. What's up? Y'all follow Reggie on Instagram and Twitter. His feed is fire, and we are Twitter friends. I'm back on Twitter. We out in these streets. But Reggie says, maybe I just grew up around a lot of people with blades for tongues because I don't see how Candiace is so triggering. I don't see how Candiace is so triggering either. I really don't. But again, maybe I'm the toxicity I speak about, but I don't see how she is so triggering to the point I can understand how somebody would argue with her. I can understand how she could get under somebody's skin. I can understand she can make somebody mad. But to the point people are telling her to end herself and was hounding her, hoping that she would hurt herself. Y'all, come on. To the point that we got a grown man that he says he's a gatekeeper. What is she saying this whole triggering? The gatekeeper has to come off of their perch and read her and put her in her place. Again, when somebody says, what did Candiace tweet at Funky? This goes to my point, y'all. As much as Candiace is disliked, if she had really said anything that amounted, please believe that would have been retweeted. Please believe that would have been on everybody's YouTube. Please believe when you went to your Instagram page, every vlog from Ultra T to the Peach Report to Jay's Reality Blog to please believe they would all have that on there. Again, he felt like flexing, and okay, let me compare this to something. Follow me on this. Y'all know what's going on in the UK with Brexit, right? And the way that the UK ripped up their trade agreement with the EU, because in their minds, they were still the UK from 15 years ago, before the Euro and the EU was formed. Was that 20 years ago? When that was Britain had shit, and the rest of Europe was on some Les Miserables shit, starving, right? So they're always, even though they had the most favorable trade deal, and whenever the EU thing, they hated the UK because they were kind of like the bullies. They were like the America of the EU. They ripped up their agreement for no reason other than the fact of, no, why are foreigners? Why do they have food? Why do they have cars? We're the mighty UK. So they ripped it up, and they overestimated. They failed to, this is my opinion, they failed to reassess their current state. Which is, yes, at one time you were a mighty empire and you ran shit over in Europe. But now you're a little small island nation and everybody's economy is doing well. And we don't need this. And guess what? With the banking, and I'm not going to get into the whole things about how they messed up on Brexit, but they misestimated their importance. Even the way they thought they were going to tell all of EU, kiss my butt, and still keep them at themselves as the banking headquarters of the EU when you left the EU. And now they're shocked that all these banks and all the people money are pulling out, and literally, I think France is going to be the next financial capital of the EU. However, what does this have to do with Funky Dineva? I think that Funky Dineva misestimated his own importance. He still thought that Candiace Diller was that small little girl that everybody could kick from last season. They were dragging up and down the streets, that they were teasing for having breakdowns and all this stuff, and she was unprotected. And now he's literally shocked and upset. Same as with that small little island nation, that he's triggered about where he stands in the ecosystem and his importance. And someone that you thought was below you, that you actually, in my opinion, bullied and treated like shit, is now up and stuck. She's not being invited. He's not being invited to the Kelly Clarkson show. He's not number 4 on iTunes. He's not being celebrated. And I think it's triggering him. I think it's triggering a lot of people. That's just my opinion. But
You're
Betty,
right.
Oh, thanks, Miki. So listen, let's go over the Betty, then we'll move on to Ralphie G, then back to Kimmy Kaya. Betty, jump in here. What's your opinion on all this? Betty? Betty, is your call muted?
Sorry, I was on mute.
No problem. Welcome, Betty. Welcome. I figured as much. I know you've been waiting for a while, girl.
I gotta take you off from mute real quick. What's that? Hey, Tisa girl. First of all, I just wanted to let you know I really like you. I love your point of view. I love that you have an intelligent take all the time. Just want to get that out the way because I do disagree with you a little bit tonight.
It's okay to disagree.
But I just wanted to get that out of the way. This whole colorism thing. Okay, look. Bravo moves on the colorism. That's what happens on these shows. Andy Cohen or whoever the fuck is behind all that stuff understands the Black community. And colorism is very real and rampant in our community. So that's why they prop up the light-skinned girls to be, the girls you root for, and then the dark-skinned girls are usually the villains. Mm-hmm. That's the formula. I will never deny that. However, we got to be real. If you have a bad attitude, if you're coming in, if you're leaning into the villain role and it's empowering you and it's making you think that you that bitch and you want to read everybody down and you just want to be that, we got to call a thing a thing. Candiace is not a victim by any means. She wants to be that girl who's reading down, who's untouchable, who's the queen bee. And if you want to do that, then you got to take the hits too. I think that Kenya's a good example. I mean, Kenya is not a fighter by any means. I don't think that she would try to fight anybody on that show, but she has good comebacks. She says things a lot that gets under people's skins and makes her mad and makes people mad. And, you know, so a lot of people be like, you know, Kenya needs her ass beat. I never thought Kenya said anything that deserved her to get hit, because I feel like Kenya knows how to play the game. She toes the line and she makes sure what she says, her insults are kind of like in this area where it's still acceptable for TV. The person you're fighting with is going to be able to come back and be friends with you at some point. You know, it doesn't go too far. It's debatable, whatever. In my opinion, Candice doesn't understand how to do that. She just doesn't. She's immature. And she's like, it's like grade school kind of fighting. It's like, oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to just try to hit you back with whatever, as hard as I can, whatever I got. And it just takes it too far too quick. And I think that's why she's not translating on TV well. You know, she needs to learn how to play this game, and she's not playing it right, in my opinion. And that's the reason why her character doesn't really get a lot, you know, good feedback from people who's watching the show. She's not a good fit for the show, in my opinion. It started off with Karen and all these light-skinned girls who act like they're just so prissy, and, you know, they're just like so high and mighty. These girls are whack. They don't do this shit. That's why you look out of place when you're talking like this amongst these girls that don't talk like that. It's unfortunate that they're all light-skinned and you're dark-skinned. That's unfortunate, and that is the Bravo formula, okay? We didn't make it like that. We did not make that dynamic. That's just the show that we're watching. So should we just always take Candice's side because she's dark-skinned? I don't think so. I think that's actually degrading to not speak the truth and not, you know, be realistic about Candice because she's dark-skinned. We just have to act like she does nothing wrong and that anything that somebody says to her, it's just automatic colorism. I think that's too far.
Okay.
That's way too far with it. We have to be truthful. Colorism exists in the Black community, yes. It's on Bravo TV every night, yes. We watch the show and we take from it what we want to. If you're a colorist, hey, you might fall into that shit when it comes to Bravo, but everybody's not a colorist. I'm not. I think Candice is annoying. Can I see how they set her up to look a certain way? Yeah, but that's what Bravo does.
Okay, but let me just say this really quick. First of all, I want to give a shout out again to Reggie Greg Blanchard. Thank you so much for the super chat. And everybody else listening, feel free to send super chats. Please follow Reggie's lead. But he says, other YouTubes that I love go toxic when it comes to Candice. It is crazy. Reggie, I 100% believe. Now, Betty, let me just pose a few things to you and to the people in the crowd, right? It's your right not to like Candice. Now, I have issues with a few things you said. Number one, take Kenya. Kenya didn't receive the hate that Candice did. But let's look at that. Let's look at a little juxtaposition you put out there. Let's take Kenya. Because Kenya was what they expected her to be, right? Kenya was dragged because she didn't have a man. She didn't have children. She was miserable. She was this. I would say to you that maybe America, or maybe Bravo, or maybe even people in this chat could stomach Kenya more because, yeah, Kenya had that mouth, but Kenya ain't have love. Kenya ain't have respect. Candice came in, and Kenya was like struggling to build more mana. Candice came in with her own coin, Miss Princess, heavily loved and heavily protected. Candice's problem, actually, she got too much love. Miss Dorothy is trying to be number one in her life, and so is her husband. I feel like it was more palatable for people to accept Kenya because Kenya fit that narrative, right? We've seen it with Jackie Aina. We've seen it on TikTok. We've seen all the YouTubers say it. People have, and listen, it's not just me, right? It's actual analytics. People have a problem seeing Black women in luxury. People have a problem seeing Black women protected. People have a problem seeing Black women loved.
Tisa, but with somebody that watches Real Housewives, we watch Real Housewives for that. Why would we have a problem? Come on, Tisa.
Betty, okay, but Betty, I'm just saying, listen, I'm just giving a little counter argument. You look at what happened with Kenya at that pajama jammy, where there were men. How many seasons did grown-ass men try to knock Kenya's head off? And all the women castmates, because they ain't like Kenya, was defending that mess.
No, I agree with you. I agree with most of what you said. It's just that I think that it's unfair to kind of, you know, brush it with this broad stroke of colorism all around, because I feel like it doesn't leave a space for us to give Candiace real criticism.
No, but
and she does deserve a lot of the criticism that she gets.
But here's the thing. I agree with you on the fact that Candiace isn't perfect. I talk trash about certain things I do when I was like, Candiace, you know you were wrong for that. However, they do create an environment that because Candiace is always wrong, I got to come in and be like, well, hold on. Because here's the thing. I never said Candiace was right. My whole thing was defending Candiace is she don't do nothing more than what anybody else in that cast does. So why is she getting dragged? Now, here's your whole point about
she does it badly.
Well,
she
Betty,
does it badly. It's not good for TV.
But Betty, okay, fine. It's opinion.
Hey, can I chime in really quick?
Wait, hold on, you guys, really quick. Let me just make these points, and then I think, Miki, that was you, and then we'll get Betty's response. But I will say, and Ralphie, feel free to jump in, but I will say this. When it comes to the colorism thing of Potomac, see, I don't know if y'all just started watching it, but Potomac from season 1 was accused of being colorism. Y'all might not know it, but Miss Candiace was bought in because the show was accused of being colorist before even Candiace got bought in. That's why Candiace was bought in. 1, she was qualified, but 2, they were like, ooh, let's put some color in there. And it's funny, when she got bought in, it got thrown, like we saw what happened. Third, when it comes, Betty, again, I see your point you're making. I do not agree with it. Just because Bravo feels fine, and your whole point, oh, well, this is what Bravo does, and we watch it, and we take from it what we will. No, see, here's the thing. I don't believe in that type of consumerism. I feel that if I'm sitting there watching a show, I want to see people that reflect me and my life. Not just people that look like me, but people that look like my family. People look at my friends, people that look like my loved ones. I feel, yeah, I watch Beverly Hills, and I understand, yeah, we get what we get. But when I saw them doing microaggressions to Garcelle, I was like, absolutely not. You're not getting my advertising dollar. And as a matter of fact, let me hop on Al Gore's internet, type a quick email to Bravo, talk about I don't appreciate it. I see your point, but again, this goes into how I don't think just because something is the way it is the way that we should accept it. I think Bravo has a problem with that. I can agree, but I don't agree with that's the way. But Miki, I'm sorry, you were going to jump in and say something?
Hold on, wait, I wasn't done. Remember, I had one more time to talk. Okay, baby, I'll be done after this.
Go on, babe.
I hear you, Tisa. And honestly, you know, I'm not that mad at your standpoint. I know what you're trying to do, and I'm here for it. Just specifically with this girl, with Candiace, and even with Wendy, they're not, to me, I just don't think they're the right girls to put into this show for us to like just be rah-rah behind them. They're not a good fit. I'm sorry, they're just not. They're more annoying than they are entertaining, the both of them. And it has nothing to do with them being dark skinned. That's just what it is. Okay, now, for the whole issue of the colorism, Candiace is not the girl I'm going to put on it. I'm sorry. She's calling people slave overseers. She's always making jokes about slavery when it comes to Ashley. Like, she is always including race,
but Ashley's black,
in an insensitive way with the stuff that she says.
Black, but Ashley's black.
It doesn't matter what color Ashley is. If you care about these things, you're not going to be on TV making jokes about it, and you're not going to be using these as insults. That's the point about Candiace. You want to insult people. You want to be this funny girl that reads people, and you say the wrong shit all the time.
Okay, Betty, but we don't make jokes about that in our community to each other.
All right, so that's my point. How are we going to say, oh, she's facing colorism, and we want to rah-rah behind her, but she's the same person making jokes about slavery and calling people overseers and saying that, come on, like that's, it just Betty, doesn't, it's like me trying to fuck, it's like me trying to root for Portia and saying, yeah, Portia is a fucking next Rosa Parks, whoever the fuck she didn't know. Like it's a joke. This is a joke
Betty,
to me. Like,
but Betty, listen, what's your definition of colorism?
Colorism.
What do you consider colorism?
Colorism is simply a bias based off of the color of your skin. You being treated differently, or someone having a bias against you because of the color of your skin.
Give me an example of what they could do to Candiace that you would consider it colorism.
What do you mean, like on the show, the castmate?
Literally give me a hypothetical of what you could see them doing to Candiace. Make up any scenario you want that would, in your mind, say, yeah, that was colorism.
Well, I can give you an example of what I think I see going on. With Candiace,
what could they do to Candiace for it to be considered colorism to you? Just make up any hypothetical, because I'm genuinely curious.
If there was a situation where Candiace was upset and she started emoting in a way that wasn't, you know, dainty or like precious and pure, and she was just being really angry and she had a valid reason to be angry, and they automatically were like, oh, you need to calm that. They all started acting like they were scared to death of her. I would say that was colorism, because it's only because she's, you know, if Ashley got that mad or if somebody else got that mad, nobody would act like their lives were in danger. And they did that.
Just did that at the reunion.
They've been doing that for 2 seasons.
They just did that at the reunion.
Not to Candiace though. They didn't do that. They didn't do that to Candiace.
The butter knife incident.
Are you kidding me? You cannot have a knife in someone's face and then
no,
say that
when
that
I
person doesn't have a right to like they weren't safe.
You have to
this is what I'm talking about. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We cannot say that this is colorism. She had a knife in someone's face.
You guys,
this is not fair. And this is actually making the colorism argument. This is demeaning it. This is demeaning it.
I understand you're trying to make your point. I understand emotions. And listen, I'm a loud talker too, but you guys, we can't talk over each other. I'm going to have to start muting people, and let's give everybody a chance to talk, all right? Betty is not directed towards you. It's directed toward everyone. I'm a loud talker. I'm an over talker, but come on, you know? Listen, this is all I'm saying. The scenario that you just described, to Miki's point and to Kaya's point, the butter knife incident, a lot of people, again, a butter knife is a knife with no blade.
It doesn't matter. You were trying to attack someone. It doesn't matter. You don't determine for someone when they feel they're not safe. This is not up. I feel like this is not up for debate. You have something in your hand that can be used as a weapon, and you are aggressively going towards someone. That is an attack. Period.
I have a question.
If you personally don't feel attacked, you weren't in that situation. You cannot speak for her to say that was no. That's not fair. I just don't think that's fair.
Can I ask a question?
Well, you guys, hold on. Love Black made a good point. Betty, to your point, Ashley watched the butter knife drop on the floor, and
it doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. If I saw someone with a butter knife anywhere near me, that girl would have been in the hospital that night. Some things it's just social cues. Some things, the way you behave and the things that you do, it gives a message to the other person. That's just what it is. We all understand their house. We're watching this on TV. We're not involved, so we have an objective point of view. But if you were in that situation and somebody picked up a knife and was charging towards you with it, you would feel like that person wanted to attack you or that person wanted something to do bad with you. I don't.
But if I was in somebody's house and they told me to leave,
honestly, I think it's ridiculous.
If I was in somebody's house,
okay, you guys, listen, please hold on. You guys, please don't talk over each other because we can't hear anything. All right. So I'm sorry, Kimmy, were you speaking?
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me because, like, if you're in somebody's house and they tell you to leave and you come back in, at that point, anything they do to you is fair game.
They were taping a show. Okay, so you're saying it's fair game, then say what it is.
Betty, hold on, I have to start.
If it's fair game, then it's fair.
Go on, Kimmy. What were you saying? Betty, hold on. As soon as we'll come back to you, but I just want to see Kimmy's point. Go on.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're going to come to my house and start saying crazy things to me and I tell you to leave and you come back in, yeah, at that point, it's fair game. You need to get out of my house. She came back in her house. It doesn't matter if it's filming or not. The point is, if I tell you to leave, you need to get out. She left and came right back in to start more drama. That's not on Candiace. That's on Ashley.
Okay, definitely. Ralphie, did you have a comment in on this? I saw your thing moving too. See, here's my question to Betty and to a lot of people. And if somebody can in the comments let me know. If you don't think that it is colorism, what scenario could happen that you would consider it? Baby gave a hypothetical, but I need more detail. I need more detail, Betty. I'll unmute you, and then we'll bring some other people on. But I need more detail. I know what it is. I'm sorry. Go on, Ralphie.
Yes, I'm sorry. As you guys were having the conversation about colorism and everything, I did want to chime in. I feel as though prior to us having the colorism conversation, when it comes to Potomac, there's also a classism issue with the ladies on the show and viewers. And being from Jamaica, that is more so something that we are used to. So I think that's also something that's taking place as we watch this show. Candice, to me, is a girl who she comes from a privileged background. I think we're not, some of us as viewers
She doesn't
are not
act
used
like
to seeing. Well, it shows.
No, only
Some
when
of
she's
us are not.
playing victim.
Betty, please, 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 please. Go on, Ralphie, with your point.
Yeah, so I was saying, I don't feel like some of us are used to seeing a privileged, dark-skinned girl on a show who comes from wealth and can speak her mind and is not going to just take what it is that people are giving to her. At the end of the day, you are in someone's home, and if I ask you to remove yourself multiple times, it doesn't matter if I had a fork, a spoon, a straw, a knife, and I toss it, you are in my home. That's number one. I don't think it's just colorism, but it's definitely also a classism issue with the show. And I also think it is the same for some of the viewers. Because I just think it's something about Candiace, minus the fact that she's one of the darkest skinned ladies. I do feel like it's because of her background and how she is. And okay, maybe she's not a fighter per se, but she's a fighter verbally. Why does everything always has to resort to violence? When this is a show where we're watching them to be on the show to talk, argue. Go ahead.
No, I completely listen. Y'all know I agree with you definitely, and I've seen it too because I've seen people I love. I've seen members of my family. You know, I've seen it, so I recognize it. I will say, hold on a second. Hey B, thank you so much. I just did it. Okay. So we should be seeing the results, okay? But I will say that if again in the chat and in this group, Betty, you're up. I need something
Tisa.
more. Well, hold on, Betty. I need something more specific, not a hypothetical if, but it's kind of like if I said, prove someone's discriminated. What would be discrimination to you, Tisa? I could give a 100% concrete example right now with details about what that would look like and this and that. I need an example from anyone in the
Here's
chat.
the thing, Lisa, I agree with you. I think you missed that. Okay. I think you missed the point when a lot of the things you point out, that's colorism. I agree with you. And for me, that just goes down to Bravo and the way that they produce the show and the way that the show is edited, you know, and it's also made that way to get reactions out of us, the audience. So that's why I'm saying it's at the end of the day, it's down to the audience and what you believe, how you feel, what you think. That's what determines how you take in this stuff. You know, so all the things that you point out that you feel is colorism as far as production is concerned, I agree with you on that, you know, and I just feel like that's out of our hands. There's nothing we can really do about that. But as individuals, when we look at these things, we have a right to, you know, to process it the way that it should be processed. Do I believe that Bravo has colorism? Yes. Do I also believe that Candiace is annoying and a lot of the times she's deserving of the heat that she takes? Yes. I think that both things could be true. I don't hate her or I don't dislike her just because she's dark. And me personally, that's not my reason because I don't subscribe to that thought process, period. So.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I will say, Cool Cat said, Tisa, Betty gave many examples as I have over and over. Candiace is not a victim. You guys haven't, listen, when I ask for an example of specificity, I expect specificity, right? And again, this is nothing against you, Betty, but if somebody says, what does police brutality look like? I can give you an example. I can literally paint a picture and give you a scenario.
I gave you an example. You want another one?
Your example said, if she said something that offended someone and they felt endangered. No.
Whenever she's getting a reaction to something that everybody else does, and it's like an exaggerated, they're acting like, you know, they've never seen this before. They feel like they're not safe and all this stuff like that. I think that the dark skin woman thing, when the colorism stuff, when it comes to dark skin girls, they try to act like dark skin girls are ghetto. Dark skin girls, you know, are uncivilized, or, you know, I don't subscribe to this stuff. So I'm just regurgitating what I've heard out there.
I'm not talking about in general as to what it is. I mean, for instance, where do I see colorism with Candiace? When Robin Dixon says that even though Karen, the cast, and Candiace say the exact same words, it sounds different when it comes out of Candiace's mouth. to me.
But Candiace has more vitriol. Candiace speaks differently than them. That's just a fact. It doesn't have anything to do with colorism. These are old. Karen is old. She gets to talk like she's some aristocrat. You know, like that's what I was saying earlier. It's unfortunate. That stuff is unfortunate.
Someone at work and I say, "Good morning, sunshine." And this isn't towards you, Betty, so don't take it this way, right?
No way.
And I say, "Good morning, sunshine. You're a dumbass bitch." Or if I say, "You're a dumbass bitch," or if I say, "You're a dumbass bitch," what? Like, okay,
girl, that delivery was different. Okay. It matters. Candiace is probably threatening to some of those girls. Maybe they feel threatened by her. So when she says something and when she puts the extra in it hurts more.
Candiace,
I don't think that's colorism all the time, though.
Candice, it's 3 apples high is threatening to someone. 3 apples high and 80 pounds soaking wet is threatening to someone.
Not physically threatening, like whatever, like emotionally or mentally threatening, not actual physical, no. Threatening as is their reputation on the show. You know, she's going to make you look bad on TV.
Honestly, this is literally a difference of opinion. Y'all might feel like you're in the Twilight Zone. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Because the examples
Karen, Robin, and Giselle, those girls can't read. Come on, those girls cannot read. When they say something, it doesn't hit. They're whack. Candiace has more oomph. Candiace has more life in her. So yeah, she's gonna give you the extra stuff. Yeah, come on, there's a difference when she's saying stuff and when they're saying stuff. We can acknowledge that. What's wrong with acknowledging that?
Tisa.
Go on. Wait, hold on. I got to read this from B. Thank you so much for the super chat. And B says, shout out to B. Over and over again, racists have straight up used a Black person's lack of perfection to justify injustice against them. We deserved it because we didn't uphold standards that even they can't meet. That is a word. That is a word. That is a word. But go on. Let's open up the floor to some other people. Who was speaking? Was it Miki, Kai, Kimmy? You guys also, I know the chat's a little crowded. It's because I really enjoy this interplay. Everybody's opinion is welcome. So who was speaking? I'm sorry.
That was me, Tisa.
Okay, Miki. Welcome back to the chat. Go on. What were you saying?
So
wait, hold on just a second. I don't have anybody muted by the host, Kaya. You need to check your thing, but nobody's muted on my end. So go on.
Okay, Tisa.
Yeah, babe.
I'm gonna use your words. It's the Twilight Zone. It's like people, their head is in the clouds. First of all, let's talk about the fact that we have a lot of Candiace haters that are always like, even just the time that I've been sitting here waiting to speak, the vile language, like everybody's being respectful, you know, on your panel, but the vile language that they're coming through the chat speaking about Candiace, just disgusting. You know, I don't understand.
Hold on really quick, Miki. So my mods, or if anybody has mod power, if you are in the chat but you're not partaking, please start going to this chat and blocking people right out. I don't care if they are for or against Candiace or Funky Dineva or anything else. Y'all keep that vitriol, keep that hate, keep that violence out of my goddamn chat. It is not welcome. And if you have a problem with that, you can unfollow me. It's not that type of party. And I don't want to go to the gutter, so y'all got to get out. Nobody's disturbing this peace. We are having a respectful conversation. We can agree to disagree. All right? So anybody speaking violence, please get the hell out of this chat. And if you're not, you will be escorted out. And honestly, if we find the comments, right, and I will be going through, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to give myself homework. I'm going to start going through my chat replays and see who is preaching hate and vitriol and ignorance. And I will go personally and go into my thing and find your username and block you myself. All right, you guys, keep it respectful. Act like you have home training. All right, so go on, Miki. What were you saying?
It's just the hypocrisy. You know, you hear some of these people that are on the Candiace hate train, some of the things that they say about her, it's disgusting. But you want to
you want to say that this lady is the one that needs to watch her mouth? It's like you said, Tisa, it's like the Twilight Zone. They're so disgusting. I have seen like some of the things that Candiace has even posted that they've put in her DMs. It's disgusting. I'm often wondering, who are these people? Like, I wish I knew. You know, I hope one day they get you know, a lot of these social media set up to where you actually have to identify your real self. Like my picture, this is me. This is me. Some of these people, they hide behind, you know, these fake letters and don't want to show themselves, or, you know, they try to pretend, you know, they're someone that they're not, just so they could get away with saying some vile, disgusting things. It's crazy. It's hypocritical. It really is. That's what really gets me. The hypocrisy. You want to talk about what Candiace says, but some of the things that you people are saying, and some of them are teachers and mothers, and like just disgusting. They really are. That's what really gets me, the hypocrisy.
Yeah, you know, it does. Again, we have to move this outside of Candiace. I completely agree with you. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to open this up. Kaya, Rafi, M Black Love, Miki, Betty, please. Kimmy, if you're still there, please weigh in. Is it colorism when different hair textures are brought up? You guys, are we? I'm not going to play it. Listen, I don't want a username. If you are not part of the Black community, then fine, I'll let you slide. And maybe you're asking a genuine question. But if you guys are Black and you guys are trying to act like colorism and texturism are not fruits of the same goddamn tree, most dark-skinned people don't have hair like Chili from TLC. Stop playing. You guys, I'm done. Like, yes.
Oh, okay, then.
Texturism is rooted in colorism. It really is. And we all know from colorism that if somebody is dark-skinned and got hair down over their butt looking like they're half Cherokee or Kenya Moore, right? Then that kind of moves them up in the ranks because they're darker, but they're not really dark because they got that good hair and the babies might come out with good hair. Y'all, I can't with y'all. Like, I almost want to change this to like talk about something else. I can't take this. Like,
Tisa, my natural hair is down my back. I can remember working at an office where it not majority Black. It was always, is that your hair? Is that really your hair? Can I touch it? Can you part it? It's like how could this dark-skinned girl have naturally long hair?
Because it's not associated. And listen, like Macy said, texturism meet colorism. Now, if you are not a part of the community, I can understand that you wouldn't understand, but everybody in the community, maybe you're blessed and you never had to deal with ignorant people, or you never saw ignorance happen to it. And if that's the case, then you are blessed. But if some of y'all are just playing like, y'all, come on.
Yeah, I think we forget.
And listen, calling somebody's edges dry, stop giving Ashley passes. Ashley is Black. She knew what she was saying. She knew what she was saying.
I've never even seen Candiace's actual hair.
What's that?
I've never even seen Candiace's actual hair to make an opinion on that.
Well, she's posted it before. It's nice, but like,
you guys, if I could just go back, the night of the thing where she called her edges dry, Candiace had on a head wrap and her edges were out. The head wrap was about an inch or two back. Her edges were out. So
Ashley's going to be the last person talking about dry edges.
Well, Ashley's all hair is dry. And I say that as somebody that half the time my hair looks like straw. So I can recognize one dry, straw-haired person on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday to another. Ashley, shut up and go put some goddamn John Frieda frizzies in your hair and make that shit shine like glass. Like, Ashley, shut up. Put a henna treatment in your hair. Shut up, Ashley. Just shut up. Ashley, again, here's the thing. And this might be my projection. I don't think that Giselle and Robin even now, dry hair won't lay down. I don't think that Giselle and Robin, I don't think that they weaponize their sometimes I wonder if even aware. I mean, I know they're aware on a certain level that they were always the pretty girls. Robin and Giselle always had the pretty eye. Like, I get that they're aware, but I don't know on a level if they are aware. And again, this is my opinion, I firmly believe that Ashley is 100% aware of her privilege and she weaponizes it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But
That's why
she's not pretty. Play with this all the time. Ashley is
Definitely.
very much. She's biracial to me. She's made very a point that her father is white.
Let's stop. But here's the thing. And Kaya, like, I love you, girl, but I want to also get away from the biracial thing because honestly, and every Black person in America is biracial. It might go back 10 generations, but every Black person in America, if you take a DNA test, this is what makes Black America. And I'm not ashamed to say I am Black. I am descendant of enslaved people, not slaves, because that's the meaning, but you're descendant of enslaved people, which means there's a lot of mixed race. Anyone, no matter how light or dark, they take a DNA test and they at least got a quarter something else that's not Black in their blood. And again, we all know why that happened. I don't want to go by it. But Ashley being biracial, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, but
that's what Ashley called herself by. That's what she called herself last time. That's what she called herself last week. So I'm just calling herself what she calls herself. And I'm saying in the sense of how you're saying how you were talking about her, she's hyper aware. She is hyper aware. And Giselle and Robin are also hyper aware, which is why on Giselle's Instagram, it's a photo of just her eyes. Monique, said there was no colorism last season, but she was the person who called Robin and Giselle the Green-Eyed Bandits. And Monique is the one who has the rapper name called Hazel because her eyes are hazel. So I feel like we are playing like...
Monique listen, we could talk about Monique a different day, but I firmly believe Monique thought she passed the paper bag test. In the school days, like Erica De Niro said, the girls, at the school days they were separated. Monique firmly thinks that she's in Giselle's and Robin's thing. Even in the thing where she was like, sun kiss, you would like, she like, let me stop.
No, I get that. I'm just saying the point that Monique said there's no colors on the show, but Monique is the person who called out Giselle and Robin's features, and she's the one who calls her rap name for her eyes. That's my whole point. Just they understand the privilege and their features on this show. They understand what those features do for them. So I'm not going to play on my intelligence that Giselle doesn't know when Giselle's father is a civil rights leader and she went to Hampton University and she was an AKA and the history of colorism in the AKA. Giselle is very much so aware of what she looks like and what that represents and why she hasn't really had to do much in life and expects everything and anything to be given to her, which all women should. But Giselle literally puts no effort into her clothing, no effort into her home, like no effort into being a good person from what we can see on the show. She doesn't even have to have a storyline. She can just show up and just like talk about some random rumor, and she just expects that no one will come back to her because she is Giselle. She talks about how this face and how Wendy is jealous, because I think even Giselle said Wendy was jealous as soon as she saw this face. She is always relying on her face. That is what she relies on 24/7. So that's why I'm saying I don't buy them not understanding what that is, especially since last season, Robin was the only light, bright Legion of Doom to understand why Wendy had an issue, which we're not at that point yet of like understanding the kind of language we can use, but Robin understood the issue of calling a dark-skinned woman aggressive holds different weight than calling another light-skinned woman or another person of another woman, another race or nationality aggressive. They hold different weight. Robin was the only light bright who agreed to that. So I feel like they understand that. And Robin, when I forgot because you were talking about a podcast where she repeated that it was the wide body comment, and she said, if Karen said it, it would have been ha ha. But Karen said, "Oh, get wide body, da 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 da." Well, if Karen said it, it would be okay. But since Candace said it, it's not. And the whole point is, I don't care if someone likes Candace or not. I like Candace, but I don't care if you do. But the whole point is, not understand what's being played at here. Measure her by the same standards. As I said again, Ashley is the one who had people walking up to her friend talking about her being an alcoholic, and that's why she had a miscarriage. That is Ashley. Ashley is the one who was always playing off someone being victimized by her husband and saying he calls my husband Zaddy. Oh, Juan didn't mind Michael saying X, Y, and Z. And we have no problem with that. But Candace standing up for herself. We do. And usually I don't. Yes?
I would just like to say that. I just want to say this, right? Because as you guys talk, something just popped into my head. Maybe this is another divisive thing meant to pull us apart. Because to Betty's point, and I don't know if this is a point you're making, but to what you were saying to continue that thought process, Bravo's the real villain here. That's kind of the way that I see people arguing in the chats, the way people are Instagramming, and everybody's being respectful, right? I get that. Everybody's being respectful. Nobody's like sending me whatever. But the way people are inboxing me, the way things are going in the chat, the way we're even arguing with ourselves over this. And I know it started off about like the funky, versus Candace. I get that. But I would just like to say that it smacks to me the way Bravo took Black Lives Matter and turned it into a petty feud between Kenya and Portia. And instead of actually focusing on what was going on, instead of really giving some depth, instead of really giving some weight, they showed a little clip of Kenya. And then all of a sudden, everybody was dragging Kenya. She had to do this and this and that. And this isn't about whether Kenya or Portia was right. It's the way that they took something that's super divisive in our community and rooted in a lot of generational pain and use that to get people going, create a little controversy, right? It shocks me that I feel like what they're doing on Potomac, now that I see what's going on, it just occurred to me that this isn't an accident, that they're in the chat, that they see the arguments, that they see what's going on, and they see the way, because they think majority of Potomac's audience is Black, and they might be right, I don't know. But they see us going at it. They see us talking. They see this chat has 300 people and it's been going on an hour and 45 minutes. And they like it. And they're pushing it and they're fueling it. Because at the end of the day, maybe Bravo doesn't care. Maybe all they care about is getting the views, getting the clicks, getting this, getting that. Maybe seeing Candace bullied on the stage, whether you agree she's being bullied or not. Maybe, same that the Kardashians doing, seeing a group of Black people fucking triggered off of our generational pain and our generational trauma is just what the fuck they want, because it gets the views, it gets the light, it gets it going. Same way Kim Kardashian will walk out with cornrows in her hair and get on Sting and being like, you guys, everybody forgive Jeffree Star. He's not racist anymore. What's the big deal? And they know what the hell they're doing. It just occurred to me that, you know what? Bravo's doing this on purpose. They see.
That is true tea.
Yeah, and whether you agree as to whether it even reaches the fact that we're even having this conversation, they're using it for views, clicks, likes, and controversy. And that's, yeah, Bravo. In the words of Robin Dixon, you almost had us. This is what they want. Look at the chat. Look at the comments. Look at the way we've been going at it for an hour. This is what they want. And when they see that reunion and they're all circling around Candace, and I don't care what you say about whether it's colorism or not, y'all got to admit that everybody piles on, and even Andy runs interference, and even Giselle piles on. The fact that Giselle was defending Michael Darby, really? You're doing this on purpose. You like it. You want it. We're feeding it. And we got to have another live about, thank you everybody for joining us live, but we have to have another live about this. Go on, girl. Sorry.
Even you see how they brought Nikki to talk about Candice's music career. I haven't seen the whole thing. Obviously, none of us has, but I think that's really fucked up. I think that's fucked up. I do. I don't even know why they brought Nicki Minaj, but for Nikki to come in there and think that she's gonna try to like tell that girl about her music career, I'm like, girl, really? That's what we doing?
Betty, that's the one thing we agreed about, because I was just like, who's telling who what? Who's questioning who about? I agree with you. And it was just like, even to the point of when it was like sing and put her on her spot and trying to play her. But again, Betty, to your point, Bravo didn't even think Candace was going to blow up. They didn't support her single. They didn't control her. They have not played Drive Back. They haven't had her on Watch What Happens Live like every other housewife to perform their song. They're not supporting her at all. Candace actually did make it against the odds, honestly, you know? Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. That was really messed up what they did having Nicki Minaj come on. And again, we can disagree.
How many white women have been on that show that can't sing, don't have no kind of talent? They never brought nobody famous to tell them that they suck.
At all.
That is so wrong. I did not like that at all. That is very wrong. Either.
And everybody snickered. But don't forget when that reunion
Do you think that's colorism, though?
Yes, I already said that. Bravo. That's what they use for the Black shows. That is the storyline on every Black show on Bravo. Light-skinned girls are the bad bitches, are the heroes. Dark-skinned girls are the evil villains. That is the Bravo
Tyler Perry
formula.
movies.
I'm not going to argue this because it is what it is. We either
Listen,
watch it or we don't watch it.
You know what? I got to say something. You got to love our community because this reminds me of when we be like, what's going to happen in my family on Thanksgiving? We talk, we go back and
I
forth.
just appreciated being respectful, though. I hate the
Yes.
hatred and the
Everybody was
vitriol.
Listen, everybody on this panel was super respectful. Betty, we enjoyed you. Miki, Ralphie G, Kai, M Love Black, Kimmy, y'all was the best. And this reminds me of sitting around talking to my family over Thanksgiving, arguing, doing this, doing that. But again, I'm an overtalker. So Betty, I feel you. I know when you're passionate, you just like, y'all, hear me. So
Girl, I am from Brooklyn, New York. Okay, that's for everybody down there in the chat. Okay, Flatbush, Brooklyn. This is how I talk on a regular day. We could be talking about daisies and sunshine.
But it reminded me of the family conversations when everything's calmed down and then somebody's like, but do you think that's colorism? And I was like, Nikki, I heard you. And it starts right back up again, you know? And it is when when the neighbors hit the wall, telling the neighbors to scream into the wall, shut the fuck up or go to bed, because the neighbors are trying to tell us to calm down. So no, I won. Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn, Flatbush here. I heard Betty's twang, that Brooklyn, when you're like, I'm from Brooklyn, you get that twang at the end. I was like, yeah, she's definitely from Brooklyn.
But one quick thing though, Tisa, quick thing I just wanted to add, and I think someone else on the panel mentioned this earlier.
Yes.
I actually was not a Candiace fan. And to be honest with you, I don't know that I really am now. I only started to become, I'll use the word invested onto her side was because of the colorism.
Same.
You know what, Miki? Ralphie said the same thing too. And I'll tell you what, Betty, before that, Candiace, again, I enjoyed all the girls up to a certain point. But I do agree with y'all. Once they started going in, I firmly went in on her side because it's like, no, I saw what was happening, in my opinion, and I was like, no, we got to protect her because you're not doing this. We got to deal with this shit at work. We got to deal with this shit on the subway. We got to deal with this shit at the club. I'm not dealing with this on my TV screen. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the way I felt like, no. It ends today. I'm not seeing a reflection of reality that I don't even like put onto me on a TV screen. Bravo. But again, again, to your point, Betty, because you brought it up earlier, and it just into my head, Bravo wants this. They want it. This is what they want. And it's sad that the same way they use what was happening 2 summers ago to further their views. And they thought, this is going to get the thing. And it's nothing but a plot line for everybody to pile on Kenya and play in the villain role. Now they're doing the same thing. And they see all the comments and they could fix it if they wanted. They really, honestly.
Yeah, they could. This is what they want for the black shows. This is always the formula they make for it. It's unfortunate. It is.
But can I say something real quick since you just mentioned Kenya? As I mentioned earlier, I was not a Candiace fan, and I'm still not really sure that I am. I'm not gonna rock with the way they treat her. But I really want people to stop comparing her to Kenya. Kenya is the damn goat. She's a beast.
True.
She stands firmly in that villain role, and she's earned it. She's earned it. Kenya knows the assignment and she serves it. I'm getting so tired of people trying to compare Candiace to Kenya. Candiace is no Kenya. People have tried to label Candiace as the villain. Candiace is not a villain. Not at all. They're trying to give her that role on the show.
Yeah, they're trying to make her the villain, but she's not. I don't think she can do it. She doesn't have the chops to do it, in my opinion. That's why it's like.
But Betty, she never asked.
She literally
to be the
tweeted
villain
last night that she thought about it, and she was like, "Nah."
Is that why she jumped in to defend?
Well, I don't think she realizes she's gonna be the villain whether she wants to be or not. I don't think she realizes it.
But that's my point, Betty. That's my point, and that kind of goes along with the entire topic of this conversation Tisa's been having. It's colorism, because why does the Jack and Jill silver spoon, never grew up in the hood, never knew what it was like to struggle, cries at the drop of a dime. Why is she the villain?
Because Bravo don't see anything else for dark skinned girls, black girls. That's all they see for the dark skinned black girls.
But you understand where I'm going with though, Betty. You see what I'm saying? Why she's not even a villain. Kenya walks in that role. She loves, she relishes being called the villain. Candiace is no villain.
You know what? I agree, because I saw the way that she defended Ashley in that clip from Nicki Minaj, and I was like, Candiace, shut up! Shh.
I know. She's such a softie. That's what I'm saying. She's not even the right villain.
We're listening, Miss Minaj. Go on. What were you saying to Ashley? And Candiace is like, no, that's her job. And I was like, girl, this is just how the shit started. And to your point,
we all know who the real villain is.
Yes,
but they'll never actually. Yeah, yes. They'll never make the real villain the villain, and it's Ashley.
Mm-hmm. In my mind, this season is Ashley. Sometimes, but Giselle is creeping close to that list.
Them. So they're always in it together.
I think Ashley is way too goofy to be a villain.
Ashley and Kenya are friends.
Crime.
Are they?
Right.
Yes, Kenya was on one of her lives. Somebody was asking her in her live. She said, "Yeah."
Gemini. Ashley's a Gemini. That's one thing about Gemini. Geminis can be friends with their worst enemies, but that don't mean that they like them. So, and Kenya's an Aquarius. I think they understand. Well, again, I don't know. I have to see that live. Let me not project what I think of them. I'm gonna go check out that live.
Yeah, check it out. But isn't that interesting though? Isn't that interesting?
It is super, super, super
Ashley and Kenya.
Yes. So you guys, listen. Woo! We had an epic live. Thank you once again for joining. Let me give a shout out to B. Thank you so much for all the mods that were hiding in the bushes. I think it was B, but there was my other people. And B, my girl anyway, right? You're not just a mod. You are my girl. Thank you so much. And I'm going to start going through these comments, y'all. So let's just be a warning. I'm going to start going through these goddamn comments and literally expelling people myself when I watch the replay. Be like, 1, 2, 3, fuck out of here. 1, 2, so I'm gonna start doing it. Don't play with me. Y'all know that when I get obsessive, I can get a lot of attention to detail. I will go through each live and start expelling people one by one. Because if you haven't known, honey, my viewers are rising. So no, I don't need the hate. You can go see yourself out. However, for everybody, thank you so much. Betty, Kai, Ralphie G, Miki, M Black Love, Kimmy. Listen, also, I do have my exclusive members only live. It's going to be this Friday, y'all. I got some Porsche's. Woo! Porsche's thing is, so if you want any tea on Porsche and Simon, I got some new piping hot tea. We also have some piping hot tea on a few of your faves. And I was playing coy, but there's a little behind the scene footage about some YouTube drama that's going on that we're going to spill on the channel too. So it's going to be juicy. It is only $4.99 to join. You can cancel at any time. Holiday times are coming. Thanksgiving's coming. You're going to be eating the world anyway. You do not need 3 cake pops from Starbucks that equal $4.99. Don't ask me how I know, but I do know. You don't need a donut and a latte from Dunkin' Donuts. Well, you might, but you guys, come spend it on me. It is value. And you can watch the old playback with exclusive too. The only thing that I do say is whatever is said in the chat has to say in the chat, because the shit I say in front of the paywall, 100% verified. The shit I say behind the paywall, that's just us cutting it up. It's that one week gossip that I was like, well, I heard this and I heard that. They're reliable sources, but I only heard it from one source. So we can get in the gutter like Candiace and Funky Dineva seem to like doing, right? We can get together and really chop shit up. We know flight attendants from United Arab Emirates. We know bellhops. We know doormen. We know models, actresses. Listen, I'm telling you, it ain't safe in these streets. Don't ask me how I know, but we know a lot about your faves, all right? So again, you guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being respectful. All opinions are valid. We can always debate it. you know what? But I will just say, Real Housewives of Potomac does have a problem with colorism. And on that note, y'all can fight me in the comments. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.